He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. The definition for good was morally right, pleasant, and fortunate. I defined good thing as valuable and virtuous.
Being that helpmate, you have to sometimes put self aside, learning how to talk and communicate better.
Why is preparation so important? And give us some examples of what you did to prepare yourself for marriage.
I always thought I was prepared to be a wife. Why wouldn't somebody want me? My pastor at the time said to me, "What are you doing to prepare yourself?" We're very quick to quote the scripture, but are we ready to be that wife? And she directed me to the book of Esther. We focused on the time that Esther had to take to prepare before she was even presented to the king. It really got me thinking, well, what have I been doing to prepare to be a wife? I'm praying, I'm asking God, why am I single? Why am I not meeting anyone? In life, we prepare for so many things, and I wasn't doing anything. I found that I wasn't putting myself in place to be found. I was going from my house to church. I had to put myself in place where I could be found, and that meant me getting out of my house. And sometimes you have to let people know that yes, I'm available. Be in prayer with me. Be in agreement with me that God will send me my husband. And I wasn't doing any of that. So how is someone supposed to find you if you are constantly hiding and staying hidden? And also asking God, what do I need to do so that He can find me? You have to make yourself approachable. And men are just like us. They're nervous about approaching women sometimes, and they don't want to be rejected either. And so you have to make yourself approachable. A man's not going to approach you if you constantly have a frown on your face, or
you have
a mean attitude, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's observing you. And when I first met my husband, he was kind of observing me. I didn't even know. If I had been that angry woman and hadn't been approachable and had been mean mugging all day, who knows where I would be.
What are some things singles can do to prepare for marriage?
Even though I'm married now, there's still things that I work on. There's still, it's constant. It's, we're ever changing. And so I think first and foremost, seek God. My favorite scripture is Matthew 6:33. When we seek God and we really get attached to His heart and what His will is for us, He'll show us those things that we need to change and correct in our life. There was a point in time where I was just angry. I was mean. God really showed that to me and said, how can you expect for me to connect you with someone when you have a terrible attitude, basically? Am I cooking? Am I preparing myself to be a wife that can cook dinner for her husband? Am I keeping a house clean? Doing the laundry? Those little things that we don't think are so important are important, because when you connect with someone, that's something that you have to share. You begin to share responsibilities, whether you've been single or, as I was, a single mother, and I was used to doing all of these things.
Now, what would you say to the sisters out there who don't like cooking at all? And possibly those who don't even want to learn, but they still desire marriage. Keeping in mind that there are some men who cook better than some women, or some men who actually enjoy cooking.
Right.
I kind of view cooking like a life skill. And it doesn't mean you have to make all these elaborate dishes. At least you should know the basics.
At least you should know the basics, so that maybe if you're not someone, if your house is a house where maybe he does most of the cooking, maybe at least have the ability to, one day he comes home and you can surprise him with a meal.
Right.
You know what I mean? But don't be so closed off to not doing anything. I don't like to clean. When I was younger, I had chores. My mom was very old fashioned, that when I came home from school, it was homework and then chores every single day. And so as I got older, it was like, oh, I really don't like this cleaning thing. And so that's something that when I met my husband, I was like, I really don't like to clean. And I put it out there to him, so it wasn't a surprise when we got married that, oh, I married this woman and she doesn't like to clean every day. But I do clean, I do help, but I do most of the cooking. So you have to find out where that balance is. But at least, like you said, know the life skills so that, when the time calls for it, you can at least help. Because as married women, we are the helpmate. So we should be helping our husbands with whatever they need. And he should be able to assist us the same. I would say marriage is 100. Everybody has to put in the same effort. And I'm speaking from me and from my relationship. I had to learn, and I'm still learning, how to be silent sometimes.
Let's talk about that.
I'm learning how to be silent. And again, I say to anybody, seek God, and God will tell you what you need. There's so much wisdom in the book of Proverbs for wives and for women. Proverbs 12:4 says, a worthy wife is a crown for her husband, but a disgraceful woman is like cancer in his bones. 19:14 says, houses and riches may be inherited from parents, but a sensible wife is a gift from the eternal. So what does that have to do with silence?
Wow.
For me, I'm a talker. I was a single mom, and so I was used to handling things in my house, taking care of my children, taking care of the bills, everything. For anyone who's single, you know what you have to do in your household. And so I was the head of the household. I had to pray and ask God to help me learn how to take a back seat. A lot of times I had to be silent and allow him to speak. Sometimes you think you know everything. You know how the bills should be done. You think you know how the house should function.
And your way is always the right way.
Right. And we even had conversations because he was like, how are you going to make that switch from head of the household to allowing me to lead? And so still a continuous thing where I have to trust him to be the head and the leadership of our household. Even if you don't agree with your mate, you never want to chastise or downgrade your husband or your man in front of others. If he says something that maybe you're looking at him like, babe, that is so cuckoo crazy off the wall, it's our position as a wife to allow him to speak, and then in private, behind our closed doors, to discuss the matter and say, you know what, I wasn't maybe 100% on board. Let's go ahead and talk about that now. We have to edify. We have to uplift our men. We have to allow them to stand in a position that they were designed to stand for. And to be in. We can't criticize them in public. We can't, belittle them in public. We are called to submit to our husbands. And I know some people, they don't like the word submission and they feel like it's him taking control, but it's not about taking control. It's about a level of respect that you give to your husband.
You gotta watch your tongue, because if you cut your man so deep, it's gonna take time for him to heal from that. And some men,
then they shut down.
There you go, because now they don't trust you with their vulnerability or their heart. So the definition of emasculate is to deprive of strength, vigor, or spirit. Another definition is to undermine a man's masculinity.
This is all about preparation. The word was my best resource. And if you ask God for wisdom in any area, he will show you what you need to do, what you need to change. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God.
There you go.
Generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So if you ask God, what do I need to do? What are the areas that I need to improve
He'll show you.
He will show you. Another resource is talk to other wives who have wisdom and counsel, who have been
good advice,
who have been married, who have been in the trenches, who have been through some things. That's wisdom. Ask God to show you other married couples, other women that can speak to you about marriage and get good counsel. There's books, there's media, there's all those things. Ask God what you need to do, what resources. I read books, I watched videos, I spoke to other married women. After I got married, I talked to my mother-in-law. She helped guide me. She gave me wisdom. We have to be authentic. We have to be whole in order to be ready for someone else. So read books about marriage. While you're waiting, prepare for the next phase of life.
What advice would you give to the ones who are saying that, well, look, this is me. I already know I'm a good thing because I'm a woman. It don't take all that.
I thought I was a good thing too, until God showed me that I wasn't.
Oof.
I'd been in a relationship before and I thought, hey, I'm doing all this right. What is really going on? And God had to show me some things about myself. I've also learned that sometimes, I don't know everything. And sometimes when we're talking, there's a time for me to just sit and listen. And be his peace. You know what I mean? When he comes home from work, he doesn't want to hear me, going on and on and on about, well, this needs to be done in the house and this needs to be done in the house and we got to do this. Just allow him to have his peace. Be his peace. You don't know what your husband has gone through or your mate has gone through at work. So when they come home, they don't want to come home to the same thing that maybe their boss has put them through. So